Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Megan Lee and I bring you some of the most notorious true crime cases in Asia that people around the globe should remember and learn about. Thanks for supporting my channel, and if you're a true crime fan but aren't familiar with Asian cases, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Today's case occurred in New Delhi, India. The case is probably one of the most widely known sex crime cases in history that sparked global protest and women's rights movements calling for radical reforms to curb gender-based violence in India. Delhi Crime, a 2019 Netflix original series, is also based on today's case. This case is also referred to as the Nirbhaya case, named after a pseudonym of the victim used by the media, which means fearless. In compliance with Indian law, her real name was initially not released to the media, making them use pseudonyms, including Nirbhaya, but was later revealed after the victim's parents allowed the media to disclose her identity. This case remains of great significance because a subsequent global campaign to end sexual violence against women and girls has led to positive changes, including a revision of Indian law and the legal system. Now let's look at the case we have today, the case of Nirbhaya. On December 16, 2012, 22-year-old physiotherapy intern Jyoti Singh and her male friend Awindra Pratap Pandey spent a great night together watching the film Life of Pi in Munirka, a neighborhood in South Delhi. To return home, the two boarded a bus around 9:30 p.m. On the bus, there were 6 men, including the driver. Not long after they got on the bus, her male friend sensed something was off. The bus suddenly deviated from its normal route. He asked the driver where he was taking them, and that was when the group of 6 men already on board started threatening the two, questioning them about what they were doing alone at such a late hour. This escalated into a scuffle between Awindra and the 6 men. Awindra was severely beaten with an iron rod and was eventually knocked unconscious. Then the men suddenly turned their eyes to Jyoti, who was terrified, and took her to the back of the bus. The men mercilessly beat her with an iron rod and took turns sexually assaulting her. Medical reports later revealed that she was abused with a blunt object, most likely an iron rod, resulting in serious injuries to her abdomen, intestines, and genitals. According to police reports, Jyoti tried so hard to fight off the men, leaving bite marks on 3 of her attackers. This angered the men, and she was brutally attacked for her bravery. After they were done, the attackers threw the unconscious victims out of the moving bus. They were later found by a passerby around 11 p.m. The Delhi police were called, and the couple was immediately taken to Safdarjung Hospital, where Jyoti received emergency care and was placed on life support. Awindra suffered broken limbs from the attack, but survived. When the attack was revealed by the media, it sent shockwaves throughout the entire nation. Jyoti underwent multiple surgeries, but she was in critical condition. The Indian government appointed a committee of doctors to make sure she received the best medical care. They made the decision on December 26 to transfer her to a hospital in Singapore to receive an organ transplant. Some doctors were against the idea, as she was not in the right condition to be transferred. However, the decision was made, and during the 6-hour flight to Singapore on December 27th, Jyoti suffered a cardiac arrest and never regained consciousness. On December 29, at around 5 in the morning, she was pronounced dead. Within a day of the horrific incident, Delhi police were able to arrest the suspects. They identified the charter bus through CCTV footage and found the driver, who turned out to be 30-year-old Ram Singh. With the help of the male victim, police were able to obtain sketches of the assailants. They also tracked down the mobile phones of the two victims, which were stolen by the attackers. 6 men were all caught. They included Ram Singh, the bus driver, and his 26-year-old brother Mukesh Singh, 20-year-old Vinay Sharma, an assistant gym instructor, and 19-year-old Pawan Gupta, a fruit seller, a 17-year-old juvenile named Mohammed Afroz, and 28-year-old Akshay Thakur, who had come to Delhi seeking employment. Reports revealed that earlier in the day before the incident, the group of men had a party together and were intoxicated. Ram, who drove the charter bus on weekdays, decided to take the bus out and have some fun with the guys, even though it was not allowed to pick up public passengers because of his tinted windows. They took the bus and first spotted a 35-year-old carpenter. They ended up robbing and beating him before dumping the man off the bus. The carpenter was not severely hurt, and he reported this to the police, which could have prevented an even crueler crime that would happen shortly after. But the police refused to take any action. So the attackers were running free to hunt for their next target, the young couple. 5 days after Jyoti's death, on January 3, 2013, the police filed charges against the 5 adult men. The juvenile defendant Mohammed Afroz was declared 17 years and 6 months old on the day of the crime by the Juvenile Justice Board. This board later determined that Afroz would not be tried as an adult, so he was tried separately in a juvenile court. On January 10, one of the suspect's lawyers told the media that the victims were responsible for the attack, as they should have known better not to use public transportation. He also said the couple should not have been roaming around late at night. He took his nonsense even further by saying he had never seen a single incident of sexual assault with a respected lady. This shows a lot about what idea this man had about women in general. On March 11, 2013, Ram Singh, the bus driver, was discovered hanging in his cell he used with 3 other inmates. Authorities were unable to confirm whether it was suicide or murder. Following public outrage and a demand for a speedy trial, on September 10, 2013, in the fast-track court of Delhi, the 4 adults were found guilty of their crimes, and on September 13th, they were sentenced to death by hanging. Their pleadings for a lighter sentence were rejected by Judge Yokesh Khanna. He said that the crimes they have committed shocked the collective conscience of India, and they will not turn a blind eye to what they have done. The juvenile was also convicted of murder and assault on August 31, 2013, receiving the maximum sentence of 3 years in prison. The juvenile was released on December 20, 2015. Even while on death row, Mukesh Singh showed no remorse for the victim. He blamed her for resisting and said she could have been alive if she had allowed the assault. On March 13, 2014, the Delhi High Court confirmed the death sentences of the 4 men. The 4 assailants appealed, but on May 5, 2017, the Supreme Court rejected their appeal and upheld their death sentence. Their lawyers even sought mercy from the president, but these efforts were futile, and the 4 convicts were executed in Tihar jail on March 20, 2020. They were declared dead after being hanged for 30 minutes. People across the globe were reeling from this incident, which clearly was a blood-curdling one for Indians as well. As details of the women's injuries trickled to the world at large through media reporting, people were outraged, and protests erupted at India Gate and Raisina Hill in New Delhi. Similar protests have occurred throughout the country, which later sparked protests across South Asia, including marches and rallies in Nepal, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. The protest in Delhi had given fresh impetus to protest against sexual violence, and while rallies on similar issues were largely dominated by women before, this time men were also actively taking part in the protests. They demanded harsher punishment for crimes against women, along with accountability from the state. The fact that a minor was among the attackers caused outrage over the fact that he could not be sentenced as an adult. Following the incident, Indian law was amended to bring stricter punishments for crimes against women. India has amended its criminal laws and investigation procedures, and has even revised how juveniles are prosecuted. Among the many legal amendments enacted, Section 376 of the Indian Penal Code was revised to increase the punishment for rape. In response to the incident, rape was made punishable by a minimum 7-year sentence, which was later further increased to 10 years. And rape causing death or a vegetative state was made punishable by a minimum 20-year sentence. As a result of the outrage over the release of the minor attacker in 2015, the Juvenile Justice Act was amended to allow minor assailants 16 to 18 years of age to be tried as adults if accused of heinous crimes. Despite all the legal amendments, crimes against women in India are still widespread. Indian experts say that the law and society need to evolve hand in hand. There is no question that improper enforcement of laws needs to be resolved. But facilitating a meaningful dialogue within society about addressing its deeply rooted patriarchal values is also critical to preventing crime against women. That's all for today. If you want me to cover high-profile cases in your country, you can leave your recommendations down below. Thanks for watching my videos, and see you soon.